Shalom friends, shalom family. This is part 2 of the video about the descendants of Jacob and Esau. So on yesterday, just to recap where what we covered and where we ended, we were talking about how God had wanted Jacob to have the birthright because of his personality, because of his demeanor. He deserved the blessings because he feared God. Remember the promise that God gave to Abraham. He said, if your children follow my decrees, if you teach this to your children and they follow my words and they follow my ways, they will forever inherit the earth. They will be the owners of all these blessings. But if they defect from it, then they'll forfeit all of it. So Jacob walked uprightly before God. Esau was a mighty hunter of souls, just like Nimrod. So he lost that birthright long before the time came for him to get that conferred upon him as a blessing. Therefore, God arranged it in such a way that Jacob would earn that. When Esau came and sold the birthright, by the way, in the canonized Bible, they talk about the bowl of soup. It is not mentioned. It is not even mentioned in the Apocrypha, King James Version Apocrypha, in the book of Jasher. It's not. There's a deal that Esau had made, and for that to be fulfilled, Jacob had to come chip in and help. In order for Jacob to pull through on his part, he said, "Oh, Esau is the one." At first, Jacob wasn't gonna. Esau pressed him and offered, "Okay, dude, you can have my birthright. What good is my birthright if I'm not even alive to receive it because of if this deal doesn't come through?" So Jacob said, "Okay." He pulled a book and they signed on a book and got witnesses. And then once Esau was rescued from that whatever issue was going on out there, he started plotting, scheming, intending to come around and steal back that birthright when he had already forfeited it. See, he was so slick. That's why God didn't care for him one bit. And then in the canonized Bible, they make it seem like God favored Jacob just because. God favors those who honor his will because they carry his spirit inside of them. Now we get to find out here in part 2 why the Roman Council tweaked the stories around and made it seem like God is an unfair God. He just favored Jacob just because. Okay. Remember when Jacob and Esau fell apart? When they had their fallout, they fell apart. When they had their fallout, they decided to go and stay in different places, just like Abraham and Lot had done when their people started fighting. When their men started fighting, they decided, you know what? Why don't you go stay over there and I'll move to wherever, so that our cattle will all have plenty to graze upon. So here's the deal. When Esau moved, he went to a place called Mount Seir, Seir. It was a place known for its cult, witchcraft. And they blended in well with those people because, you know what? Esau had no conscience. You know, he just fit in with those cultic folks. And then later on, they got pushed down to the Byzantine Empire. So the countries that constituted Byzantine Empire, there's quite a handful of them in Europe. Just to name the few, there's Persia, there's Syria, there's Bulgaria, of course there's Persia, there's Greece, Romania, Italy, Germany, the Serbs, the Turks, and Russia. Some moved to Russia as well. So the Byzantine Empire actually the Saul's descendants rose to power in the Byzantine Empire. Um, they didn't just get there and settle and become nobodies. They actually, wherever they go, they fight for power. Makes you wonder how they do it. The same way that Esau tried to get it from Jacob. So Italy is the home of Rome. And remember what we said about the canonized Bible being canonized by the Roman Council. It was a government of Rome that said, okay, let's put the Bible together. A government putting a Bible together. How many times were the Romans fighting with the children of Israel, the children of Judah, the children of Jacob? They were forever fighting with them. How then do they sit and put a Bible together, pretending to adopt their religion pretending to adopt the religion of the children of Israel into their pagan religion? One would be a fool to think a government can run, a religion, a denomination that really abides by the law of God. They'll tweak that thing to fit their propaganda. So, the Roman Council, to start with, was anti-Semitic. They put this Bible together 400 years after Jesus died. And well, Jesus rose again, we know that, and ascended to heaven. But they put this Bible 400 years later in their own little offices. They sat and plucked out things. Do you really think they would have given an impression that Esau, their ancestor, is the one that was wrong? They tweaked that thing. The Bible that you are reading, that you're carries some element of truth, but it's been tweaked to fit their agenda so that nobody condemns them. FYI, the most recent revelation, which just came a few hours ago, the house of Windsor is from Esau. They are not Jacob's. They are Esau's descendants. Yea, they are Abraham's descendants, but they are Esau's. They are not the rightful heirs to the throne of David. That is why God has been prophesying that their time is up. Remember, I told you, for those who were not privy to the videos that I've been making through the years, about 3 years ago, I made a video and I said, God said the house of Windsor is fallen, the house of Victoria is fallen. It said they're the fake, they're not the real, they're not the authentic heirs to the throne of David. And he said, and he showed me a man's pair of pants with the manhood deviating from the center to the left. But I'm not going to get into names or anything. Bottom line, they are descendants of Esau. There was another revelation overnight. So the Roman Council, aka Esau's descendants, destroyed the first temple in Jerusalem. They are prophesied to be the ones to destroy the sanctuary again until the sanctuary shall be cleansed at the end of time after 42 months. They are the ones who cause an abomination that maketh desolate. So, again I say to you, wherever you find a family with a conflict about so-and-so stole this from so-and-so stole that from so-and-so, within them, they carry Jacob's descendant and Esau's descendant. I mean, after this revelation, it's so easy to understand. A narcissist can only fully attach, that spirit of narcissism can only fully attach to an individual if they're an Esau descendant. If they are Jacob's descendants and they're brought up by a narcissist, they will have narcissistic traits, but those things fall away from them. They don't attach permanently to them once they're out of that narcissistic abusive relationship, whether it be their parents or it be their partner or whatever. So, how do you know Jacob's children? They are very kind. They're very respectful, pleasant, polite, helpful, generous. Even if you see some of them may have narcissistic traits, but if you see them sincerely intrigued, enthused by helping, giving a helping hand to others, they carry the spirit of Jesus Christ, who is the Lion from the tribe of Judah. Go read the Apocrypha and you understand where the name of Judah, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, came from. It's all in there. You guys, wake up. Here's my closing remark. All Christian denominations are Roman Catholic. The Catholic Church as it is, don't condemn them. They too are deceived as your denomination, as your denomination, as your denomination. They were also given the Bible that was a version of the Roman government in the 3rd century by Constantine and his crew. Those guys were the mafia. Makes you wonder why the mafia is so rampant in Italy. They are Saul's children, like father, like son. Let the children of light stand up and be counted, because now we enter into the time of Jacob's descendants rising to take the rightful throne of David. And Jesus is the rightful king and the permanent seat holder of the throne of David. We are all his servants, delighted to be at his service. God bless you guys. I hope the revelation is going to help you understand and do a soul search. Reach out to God and ask for guidance from the Holy Spirit, and also read the Apocryphal Bible. It's just going to open your eyes.